Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and we've got some big news because J.J. Watt has found a home sooner than at least I expected. I think sooner than a lot of people expected, and to a team that not a lot of people had on the radar. Supposedly it was down to the Packers, Bills, and Titans, but then the Cardinals come out of nowhere and get the former Texans defensive end, sign him to a 2-year deal. I believe it was worth $31 million. We'll get to the specifics later, but yeah, J.J. Watt is an Arizona Cardinal, 2-year deal. Will more likely than not finish his career there. What do we make of it?
Yeah, well, first off, you mentioned it. We didn't expect it. A lot of people didn't. We didn't expect it, or I didn't expect it, I should say, to the point where I didn't even throw the Cardinals um, team logo on the thumbnail of the last video we made talking about where J.J. Watt should go. So I apologize for that if you felt disrespected by that, Cardinals fans. But you have a new player, it's a 2-year deal. I believe it was about $15 million per year, if I'm not wrong. I think that's correct. Jordan, do you have the contract pulled up over there?
Oh no, I don't.
That's just me guessing. We'll clarify that, get the fact check in a moment. But yes, J.J. Watt is Arizona Cardinal. It's going to be exciting to see what he's able to do with his new team and see if they can get those Cardinals above the 8-8 record that they had last year and into the playoffs.
Yeah, just really quick to fact check. It says that free agent pass rusher J.J. Watt has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Arizona Cardinals. Blah blah blah. Terms were not disclosed, but a source told ESPN's Adam Schefter that the deal is worth $31 million and includes $23 million guaranteed. That being over those 2 years.
Yeah, so that's not too expensive for an aging J.J. Watt.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what I think it came down to because I mean the Cardinals. I mean they're not a bad team by any means. They're an upgrade over the Texans for sure. But when we thought contender, I don't think the Cardinals were the first team that came to mind.
No, definitely not. We talked about those 3 teams that mysteriously J.J. Watt threw on his Instagram bio. I think it was. Well, who were those 3 teams? It was the Bills,
Was
the
it his
Packers.
bio?
Well, I don't know if it was.
I don't know where it was.
It was floating around, and then he said some random tweet about like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I don't know if you guys saw that. He randomly tweeted that out a little bit ago. Look
He's
it up.
right.
Well, yeah, it is. Every science or biology class teaches that it is.
I'm trying to figure out how that relates to anything.
I don't know, or he could have just been kind of
just trying to figure out.
This was his first time.
Or maybe
being
he
a free
learned.
agent.
Maybe he learned that for the first time. And he wanted to share the information.
Well, no, but
with the world.
maybe he's just trying to have some fun. This is his first time being a free agent after all.
It seems like he did have a lot of fun.
He did, yeah.
Some trolling going on, and then he posted the picture of him in the Cardinals outfit in the weight room, I think it was, and he said like, "I broke the news." I don't know what it was, but he was like breaking news from me or something. So it was a fun way to reveal it. So let's talk about the implications of that. Do you guys have any initial thoughts?
Well, for me, I mean, obviously being a Texans fan, it's just gonna be weird to see him in another uniform. And the first thing I thought of was like, wait, we play the NFC West next year, so yes, the Texans will be playing the Cardinals. It's in Arizona, but still will be quite strange for me, and honestly, probably a little strange for J.J. Watt too when that game happens. So that'll certainly be a fun one to watch, but that's way down the road. But in case you're wondering, yes, J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins will face the Texans in 2021.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over here, I'm just looking up mitochondria stuff to try to figure out what that could have meant. I can't find anything. But anyways, my opinions on it. I stated in our previous video that we talked about where we thought J.J. Watt was going to go. I threw out the Bills. There were no reports of it, at least anything that I saw. And then this morning, which we're making this on the day that J.J. Watt got traded, this morning I saw a list of 3 teams, and one of them was shockingly the Bills. I was like, oh, wow, I kind of just threw that one out there. I might have a shot at this. And then later, as I'm going into my 4th period calculus class, I look at my phone. It says J.J. Watt is going to be on the Cardinals. And I'm like, oh.
For me, it was lunch. For me, it was lunch.
Okay.
For you, it was 4th period. What was it for you?
It was right after my drive home from school. I actually saw it on YouTube. I was scrolling through YouTube. And it was like 20 minutes ago.
So now you know when in our days we found this out. So
and I'd also like to point out that I made it a verbal sound too. I went, oh, as I sat down in my my math class today. Anyways, interesting story. Thought you guys would hear about it. But so we talked about contenders. Ryan, you said the Titans would have been a good one because they needed an edge rusher. I said the Bills. Tyler, what you said? You said the Bears and the Packers.
Did you say the Bucs?
I think I said the Bucs and maybe the Steelers or something. And those are all contenders for sure. And I think Arizona has potential to be a contender. We actually had a quick conversation, or by we, I mean them two had a quick conversation about it in our touchdown table group chat that we have. It's called something else, but basically that because it's just the 3 of us. And so they were talking about their opinions on this. And Ryan, you said that you didn't think Arizona was as much of a contender as some other teams, right?
Well, yeah, and again, I said this earlier in the video. They're not a bad team, but I mean, I don't know if J.J. Watt, sees something in the team and says, "Wow, I really think they're close. They can get over the hump." But even if they do play well, like the NFC West is going to be so tough. Like it's still early, but honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if the last place team finishes like 8-8 or 9-7. Like it's like if the Seahawks figure out how to coach properly and everyone else lives up to their potential. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there could be a chance. It's still very early. Again, we haven't had free agency in the draft, but like this division could be historically tough just looking at it on paper at this point early in the offseason. So, regardless of what team you are in that division, it's going to be tough. So, for JJ Watt, I mean, I think I said this in our conversation that we had earlier in the day in our group chat that I think at this point in his career, he would be choosing championship odds over money. And maybe he really believes in the Cardinals. Maybe he sees something in Cliff Kingsbury or Kyler Murray or that defense, which does have some which does have some nice young and up and coming players. So we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough division for the Cardinals. And for J.J. Watt, maybe he thinks that team was the best out of that bunch. But yeah, the NFC West, I think, will be historically tough for any team in it.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. And the Cardinals need to contend with that toughness in that division, and this move helps them to get there. I would not say though that this J.J. Watt move would give them give them 3+ wins in the season just with this single move. It's a guy who can make an impact and has other good defensive linemen that he'll be lining up next to. But I could see maybe like another win or maybe even two from J.J. Watt's presence being there. But it does add a element of free agency where players could go, okay, now they have J.J. Watt there, DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray. Yeah. They got some young wide receivers brewing. They got a better defense. It's still young. This team has a chance to be good. I'll go there. So I think that could be the impact that we see from this J.J. Watt signing. The most, of course, him being signed there is still a big deal. Is one of the best players in the league just a couple years ago and still tops that of defenders in recent years in the NFL. So it's an exciting move to see and yet another move early on in this offseason that we can be excited about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And we asked, wasn't completely listening to you. I don't think you said this still. But for the Cardinals, they have, I'm just going to be honest here. Okay. I was looking at mitochondria still.
What am I doing here? Huh?
Yeah. I found the tweet. It was what Ryan said. Yeah. But anyways, I just wanted to say that Arizona could use some help on the defensive side of the ball, and this is definitely going to help them out. I know that J.J. Watt is aging, and he's definitely not the player that he once was, but you can tell they're trying to work on this defense. They just got Isaiah Simmons out of last year's draft, and he stepped in more and more as the season went on.
I'm excited to watch him next year.
I think he's going to have a breakout year. He's a really speedy guy out of Clemson, and I think he'll do some really great things next year for the Cardinals. I think he'll have a step up and be a leader on that defense. So they're going to have to continue to improve this defense because they've shown that their offense could be really good. Kyler's had his flashes. All of them have done some great things. D-Hop has been fantastic in that new offense, but still that defense is a weakness of this team. Mm-hmm. That's why they lost some games last year, and this will help to improve that defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another thing with this Cardinals defense, but more specifically their pass rush, getting back a healthy Chandler Jones, but then also J.J. Watt on the opposite side, that could be really good. And that's something that I think we've touched on in our first video about J.J. Watt, which was us trying to figure out where he's going to go, and now we know where he's going to go, and I think it's going to be very good. And again, I said this in earlier videos, that J.J. Watt, he's not necessarily going to be the number one guy on that D-line, but, they're going to be focused on double-teaming Chandler Jones, and that leaves J.J. Watt in more one-on-one matchups. Not that they're not going to be paying attention to J.J. Watt, but Chandler Jones might be that first focus. So J.J. Watt could find himself in a lot of quality one-on-one matchups that he did not find himself in his later years in Houston.
Yes, definitely. So with this move now, the Cardinals, what do you guys think? I know, Ryan, you mentioned that they have a tough division. Yeah. Are they playoff contenders? Do you think they're going to miss the playoffs again? Just very early predictions, just based off what we've seen today. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, and then I'll go. Even based off of if this didn't happen, I'd say the same answer here. I think they are contenders. Honestly, they probably should have made the playoffs over my Chicago Bears, who made it in their spot. They should have made it. I think they deserved it. They just had a really bad end of the season. They dropped some games that they definitely should not have dropped. But that's on them as well. I think they have a lot of talent on that team. Just some help on the defensive side of the ball and some more consistency all around will get this team to be really good. I think they'll make the playoffs. And I think they have a shot to compete in this tough division.
Yeah, I'm gonna read verbatim just something I said in our touchdown table group chat about the Cardinals in this whole situation. I said 8-8 and losing your last 2 games to C.J. Beathard and John Wolford doesn't scream contender, and the truth is, it doesn't. They ended last year poorly, but I mean, it's a new season. It's 2021. That doesn't matter. This is a new era for J.J. Watt and a new chapter for this Cardinals team. So it's a tough division, but I think this Cardinals team is definitely kind of in that wild card range, I'd say, where they can get into the playoffs. And then, as the Tampa Bay Bucks showed us, just get in. Doesn't matter what seed you are. And then who knows what could happen if you get on a run like they did. So I think the Cardinals, again, very early in the offseason here at the beginning of March, but I'm going to say Cardinals are wild card-ish range for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I especially in this division, I don't see them winning the division. I would expect to see a wild card appearance from them just because they were so close last year. And there's a lot of pressure on this Cardinals team, and that starts with their coach Cliff Kingsbury, who has struggled, and it's only been 2 years so far, and he has improved. But a lot of people are saying the leash is short for him because he went out and made the move to get Kyler Murray, although it does look like the right one over Josh Rosen, who is not playing at all anymore. But there's a lot of players right now, and even
the 49ers.
Yeah, even a lot of staff that needs this team to be good, and they're going to be willing to make moves like going out and signing J.J. Watt and other free agents, and get themselves to the playoffs. I think they will at least be close, and with this extra game, I'm going to say they do have more than 8 wins like they did last year. Mm-hmm. All right. Any closing thoughts, as I always say before we wrap up the video?
Of course I have a closing
Okay.
thoughts.
Okay, 3 theories here for the mitochondria thing. I found these based off of how to use them in sentences. There's actually a list of 3 ways to use them in sentences, and they all gave me ideas. So number 1, the mitochondria produce energy within the cells. J.J. Watt wants to produce energy for his teams. Number 2, when you challenge your muscles with exercise, it responds by creating more mitochondria. He wants to challenge his body with exercise. Even though he's old, he's still got more left in him. And theory number 3, the energy produced by mitochondria is essential for cell functions. He believes he's essential for a good team, and he has a shot to win a championship with any team, and he chose the Cardinals to do it. Boom! That's why I just broke down the mitochondria tweet. You heard it here first, folks.
I thought I overthought things. That was something else.
No, this is essential stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Just like the mitochondria.
Yeah, I'm sure his cells are
remind
doing
you.
great mitosis.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
for sure.
Whatever
Okay.
cell gnosis.
I'm assuming that's why you weren't listening to me when I was talking early on in the video.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were doing that.
Exactly.
Okay. While we're throwing out crazy theories, according to this picture, the outer cell of the membrane looks to be red like the Cardinals. So maybe that's why he went there.
Well, I think that's just different for every diagram.
I don't know.
Okay,
Look,
yeah.
there's red specks in here. We're throwing out crazy
Do your
theories.
research
right
here.
now.
Okay?
Yeah.
I just did some quick research, but yeah. Let's get back to the main topic of not talking about the mitochondria tweet, but the J.J. Watt situation in
How I
general.
feel about some
If you've been living under a rock and just for some reason skipped to the end of this video,
like Dwayne.
J.J. Watt is like Patrick. Did you say?
I said Dwayne.
Patrick Starr. I was thinking living under a
Oh,
rock.
that's fine.
Oh, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Got it.
Patrick is more it's more out there. It's a good one. Just I wouldn't
No,
get
but
it.
Patrick is literally
No,
living
you're right.
under a rock.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
All right, back to it. So
Which is
yes,
hard to
J.J. Watt
understand.
was it has signed
Kinda
with
funny,
the
though.
Cardinals, $31 million 2-year deal for him. Let us know down in the comment
31
section what
divided
you
by
guys
2
think of this
is
move. Are the Cardinals going to be in the
15.5.
playoffs next year? Can they be Super Bowl contenders based off this move and other ones we could see in the offseason? Go down in the comment section and let us know. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and like I said, comment. And with that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.